It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, so you ready to dive in?
Let's do it.
All right, awesome. So today we're going to be taking a look at a guide that you sent over on how to make money on ClickBank through affiliate marketing, and specifically focusing on this idea of review blogging.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think this is a really interesting area to explore, especially for, our listeners, many of whom are already, familiar with ClickBank. Maybe some of them are already dabbling in affiliate marketing. But I think there's always room to refine our approach. And this guide, it sort of positions review blogging as this, this almost like a cornerstone strategy for really effectively driving sales. So, we kind of want to unpack that a little bit, understand why review blogging is so powerful, what are the key strategies to make it really work, and, how can our listeners, specifically implement these insights to sort of, level up their own affiliate marketing game.
Yeah, sounds great.
So to give a little bit of a high-level overview, what this guide emphasizes is, first of all, that ClickBank itself is a really, a really robust platform. It's got a massive marketplace. There's a ton of products to choose from.
That's right.
And they handle all of the sort of back end, the commission payouts and all of that. So it's a really, relatively straightforward way for people to get started with affiliate marketing.
Yeah, exactly. It sort of simplifies the process, takes away a lot of the technical headaches that you might have with other programs.
Right, right. But then, the guide doesn't shy away from acknowledging the challenges as well. And one of those is the competition, right? There are a lot of people out there promoting ClickBank products. So, the guide talks about how to stand out from the crowd, how to, position yourself as someone who people can trust, as someone who, has a genuine understanding of the products they're reviewing, and, really providing valuable insights to their audience. And that's where, this concept of being an authority reviewer, as the guide calls it, right. That's where it becomes, I think, really, really crucial.
Yeah.
So, I think as we go through this, it's helpful to, keep that idea in the back of our minds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, how do we build that authority? How do we, position ourselves as that trusted voice in our niche? But, before we jump into like the really specific tactics and strategies, I want to kind of zoom out a little bit and look at, one of the foundational principles that the guide emphasizes,
right,
which is this idea of, not just promoting products, but really solving problems for your audience.
Yeah, that's so crucial.
So can you elaborate on that a little bit? Like, how does that kind of customer-centric approach, how does that play into this whole review blogging strategy?
So the core idea here, right, is that when people are looking at reviews, they're not just looking for like, a list of features.
Right.
They're actually looking for solutions to specific problems. So when you approach your review blogging with that mindset, what you're really doing is putting yourself in your reader's shoes.
Yeah.
You're understanding what their pain points are, what their challenges are, and you're framing your review in a way that directly addresses those problems.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Right. So instead of just saying, this product is amazing, you're saying, if you're struggling with this specific problem, this product might be the solution you've been looking for.
Right, right.
And when you do that,
yeah.
it really establishes you as a helpful resource.
Right.
You're not just trying to sell them something, you're actually trying to help them.
Yeah. And I think that's such a, a critical distinction, right? Because there's a big difference between, trying to push a product on someone versus really genuinely trying to help them find a solution to a problem they're facing.
Absolutely. And, people can sense that.
Yeah.
They can sense when someone is just trying to make a quick buck versus when someone is actually trying to, provide value and help them out.
Absolutely. And I think, as we get deeper into this, like, that theme is going to keep coming up because it really permeates the entire guide. Like this idea of, put your audience first.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, the sales will follow.
Right.
So, the guide also talks about this this idea of, not just promoting any product, but really being selective and choosing products that you genuinely believe in.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So, ClickBank has a huge marketplace, as we mentioned.
Right.
There are thousands and thousands of products.
Yeah.
And it can be really tempting to just go for the ones with, the highest commissions or the most flashy sales pages.
Right.
But what the guide really emphasizes is that the most successful affiliate marketers are the ones who promote products that they actually use themselves. Products that they genuinely believe in.
Right.
Because when you have that personal experience with a product, it comes through in your writing.
Yeah.
You're able to talk about it with more passion.
Right.
You're able to answer questions more effectively. And ultimately, you're able to build more trust with your audience.
Right. And I think, there's a story in the guide that really illustrates this point. It's called Amanda's Secret.
Right.
Can you share that with us and maybe connect it to how our listeners might think about their own approach?
Absolutely. So Amanda was an affiliate marketer who focused on equestrian supplies.
Okay.
Right. Very niche.
Yeah.
And what she found was that her most successful campaigns were the ones where she really took the time to understand her customers' needs.
Right.
She would ask them about the type of riding they did, the temperament of their horse, all these specific details. And then she would recommend products based on that individual feedback.
Yeah.
Right. And she wasn't just trying to push the most expensive products.
Right.
She was really trying to find the best fit for each customer.
Right. So really taking that consultative approach.
Exactly. And what's amazing is that her sales skyrocketed because people trusted her.
Yeah.
They knew that she was putting their needs first.
Right.
And I think that's a really powerful lesson for any affiliate marketer. It's not just about, slapping up a bunch of affiliate links and hoping for the best.
Right.
It's about building relationships.
Yeah.
It's about providing value.
Right.
And it's about genuinely helping people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, that really ties back to, what we were saying earlier about, building that authority.
Right.
Right. Like if people trust you, if they believe that you have their best interests at heart,
Right.
then they're going to be much more likely to take your recommendations seriously.
Absolutely.
And that's, ultimately what leads to, consistent and sustainable sales.
Exactly.
So, I think Amanda's story is a really, a really inspiring one.
Yeah.
And it shows that, this approach, this customer-centric, problem-solving approach
Right.
can be applied to, pretty much any niche.
Absolutely.
Whether you're selling equestrian supplies or software or,
Right.
anything in between.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, people are people.
Right.
They have problems. They're looking for solutions.
Right.
And if you can position yourself as that helpful resource, then you're going to be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's move on to talking about the actual mechanics of review blogging.
Okay.
So the guide has some really specific advice on, how to set up your blog, what platform to use, things like that. Can you walk us through some of those recommendations?
Sure. So the first thing this guide really stresses is, if you're serious about review blogging, you need to have your own self-hosted blog.
Yeah.
Right. Don't try to do this on, free platform like Blogger or something like that.
Right.
Because you're going to have very limited control over, the design, the functionality.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to really monetize it effectively.
Right. And I think, it also just projects a certain level of professionalism, right?
Absolutely.
Like if you have your own domain name, it just looks more credible.
Exactly. It shows that you're taking this seriously.
Right.
That you're invested in your business.
Right. Right. So what platform does the guide recommend specifically?
It specifically recommends WordPress.
Okay.
Right. And it's a really good choice because it's user-friendly. There are tons of resources available online, and there's a huge community of WordPress users.
Right. So if you run into any problems, there's a lot of support out there.
Exactly. You can easily find tutorials, forums, all sorts of things to help you out.
Right. And in terms of, the actual domain name, does the guide give any advice on how to choose a good domain name?
Yeah. So ideally, your domain name should be relevant to your niche.
Okay.
Right. So if you're reviewing, gardening products, your domain name should have something to do with gardening.
Right. Right.
And it should also be memorable.
Right.
Something that people can easily remember and type into their browser.
Right. right.
And the guide also suggests that you try to get a .com domain if possible.
Okay.
Right, because that's the most common and the most trusted top-level domain.
Mm.
But if you can't get a a .net or a .org, would also work.
Right, right. Okay, so we've got our domain name, we've got WordPress installed. What's next? Like, how do we actually start choosing products to review?
So this is where things get really interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because there are so many products to choose from on ClickBank.
Right.
So the guide gives you a set of criteria to help you narrow down your options.
Okay.
So the first thing you want to look at is the gravity score.
Okay. And for those who aren't familiar with gravity, can you just explain what that is?
Yeah, so the gravity score is basically a measure of how well a product is selling on ClickBank.
Okay.
Right. So the higher the gravity score, the more affiliates are successfully promoting that product.
Right. So it's kind of like a measure of popularity or demand.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you generally want to choose products with a gravity score of at least 30 or higher.
Okay.
Because that indicates that there's a decent amount of demand for that product.
Right. But the guide also cautions against just blindly chasing gravity.
Right. Because sometimes a high gravity score can be misleading.
Okay.
For example, if a product is brand new and it's generating a lot of hype, it might have a high gravity score, even if it's not actually a very good product.
Right.
So you always want to do your own due diligence.
Right. So look beyond just that number.
Exactly.
Okay. So what other criteria should we be considering?
So the next thing you want to look at is the commission rate.
Okay.
Right. So obviously you want to choose products that offer a good commission. The guide suggests looking for products that offer at least 50% commission or higher.
Okay.
And ideally 75% or higher.
Okay. And realistically, are there products out there that offer that kind of commission?
Yeah, absolutely. There are a lot of products on ClickBank that offer very generous commissions.
Okay.
So you definitely don't have to settle for, a low commission rate.
Right, right. Okay, so we've got gravity, we've got commission rate. What else should we be thinking about?
So the next thing you want to look at is the sales page.
Okay.
So you actually want to go to the sales page for the product and take a look at it.
Okay.
Because the sales page is going to give you a really good idea of, how well the product is being marketed.
Right.
And it's also going to give you some ideas for how you can promote it yourself.
Okay. So what specifically should we be looking for on the sales page?
So you want to look for a sales page that is well-written, engaging, and persuasive.
Okay.
You also want to look for a sales page that has a clear call to action. What do they want the visitor to do?
Right.
Do they want them to buy the product? Do they want them to sign up for an email list?
Right.
What's the goal of the sales page?
Okay, so you want it to be clear, you want it to be compelling, and you want it to have that strong call to action.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's the sales page. What else?
So the next thing you want to look at is the vendor's reputation.
Okay.
So you want to make sure that the vendor is reputable, that they have a good track record, and that they provide good customer support.
Okay. And how can we kind of assess that? Like, is there any way to sort of research that?
So you can do a Google search for the vendor's name and see what comes up.
Okay.
You can also look for reviews of the vendor's products on other websites.
Right.
And you can also check out their social media presence.
Right.
Do they have a Facebook page? Do they have a Twitter account?
Right.
What are people saying about them online?
Okay, so really just do your due diligence and kind of get a sense of, who this vendor is and what their reputation is like.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are sort of the main criteria for choosing products. Now, in terms of, writing the actual reviews,
right.
Does the guide give any specific advice on how to craft a really compelling review?
Yeah, absolutely. So the guide has a whole section on this.
Okay.
And it really stresses the importance of writing reviews that are honest, informative, and engaging.
Okay.
So you don't want to just write a bunch of fluff.
Right.
You want to actually provide value to your readers.
Right, right.
So you want to talk about the pros and cons of the product.
You
want to talk about your own personal experience with the product.
Okay.
And you want to make sure that your reviews are well-written and easy to read.
Right.
And the guide also suggests that you use a variety of different formats for your reviews.
Okay.
So you could do written reviews, you could do video reviews, you could do audio reviews.
Okay.
Whatever works best for you and your audience.
Right, right. So mix it up a little bit, keep it interesting.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got our products, we're writing our reviews. The guide also talks about some advanced strategies for really taking things to the next level.
Yeah.
Can you share some of those with us?
Sure. So one of the advanced strategies that the guide recommends is building an email list,
Okay.
right? So you want to capture the email addresses of your visitors so that you can stay in touch with them.
Okay, and why is that so important?
Well, because email marketing is still one of the most effective ways to promote affiliate products,
Okay.
right? When you have an email list, you can send out regular broadcasts to your subscribers and let them know about new products, special offers, all sorts of things.
Right, so it gives you a direct line of communication with your audience.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the guide also recommends using social media to promote your reviews. So you want to share your reviews on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, all the major social media platforms.
Right.
And that's going to help you reach a wider audience.
Right. Right. And I think, social media can also be a good way to kind of build that, and trust factor that we were talking about earlier.
Absolutely.
Right. Like people see you, sharing valuable content on social media, they're going to be more likely to see you as an authority.
Exactly.
Right.
And they're going to be more likely to trust your recommendations.
Right. Right. Okay. So we've got email marketing. We've got social media. Are there any other advanced strategies that the guide highlights?
Yeah, so the guide also talks about using paid advertising to promote your reviews.
Okay.
So you can use platforms like Google AdWords or Facebook ads to get your reviews in front of a larger audience.
Okay.
And the guide goes into detail about how to set up effective paid advertising campaigns.
Okay, cool. So that's a whole other, skill set that people can develop.
Right.
All right. So we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah, we have.
From choosing products to writing reviews to, some of these more advanced strategies.
Right.
Is there anything else that you want to touch on before we wrap up?
Yeah, I think one really important point that the guide emphasizes throughout is the importance of staying compliant with FTC regulations.
Right, right. That's crucial.
Yeah. So you always want to make sure that you're disclosing your affiliate relationships and that you're not making any false or misleading claims about the products that you're promoting.
Right.
And the guide have a whole section on this, so I definitely recommend checking that out.
Okay, yeah. I'll be sure to link to that in the show notes.
Good idea.
All right. So I think this has been a really, really valuable deep dive into, this guide that you shared with us.
I think so too.
And I think our listeners are going to get a lot of, actionable insights from this.
I hope so.
So thank you so much for, for sharing your expertise with us.
It was my pleasure.
And yeah, I think, for anyone who's listening who's, interested in getting started with review blogging or, taking their affiliate marketing to the next level.
Right.
I think this guide is a really great place to start.
Definitely.
All right, so that's it for today's deep dive.
See you next time.
But before we go, I just want to leave our listeners with a final thought.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about, the technical aspects of review blogging and, some of the strategies for choosing products and all of that.
Right.
But I think, at the end of the day, the most important thing is to really focus on providing value to your audience.
Absolutely.
Right. Like if you can genuinely help people,
right,
if you can solve their problems, then the sales will follow.
Yeah.
So, my challenge to you, listener, is to, as you're going through this process, as you're choosing products to review, as you're writing your reviews, just keep asking yourself, how can I provide the most value to my audience? What information do they need? What problems can I help them solve?
Absolutely.
And if you can keep that at the forefront of your mind, then I think you're going to be well on your way to success.
Agreed.
All right. So that's it for today.
Yeah.
Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Hey, it's Ryan Seacrest. Life comes at you fast, which is why it's important to find some time to relax. A little you time. Enter Chumba Casino. With no download required, you can jump on anytime, anywhere for the chance to redeem some serious prizes. So treat yourself with Chumba Casino and play over 100 online casino-style games, all for free. Go to ChumbaCasino.com to collect your free welcome bonus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No